Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what health care decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead, we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election.
Oh, damn. President Biden's running for re-election, completely expected, of course, as he released this announcement video. And you see some of the themes here: freedom, battle for the soul of America. Well, the second one was a bit of a repeat from the first time around, but freedom, and specifically talking about the things that MAGA Republicans and pundits and all those folks on that side are pushing against democracy. It's something that many Democrats don't always push right away. So let him continue. Here's the back end of that announcement video.
Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country.
Thank you for choosing us.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. Let's finish this job. I know we can, because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
Exciting music, inspirational images. Joe Biden is running for president again. And as we start off, Dan here had some predictions about potential contenders, but now that he's announced, maybe it's just him. Actually, does he have a chance? And do videos like this is the question I would ask about any of these things. Do videos like this actually help promote and propel him into this campaign? That one specifically.
The videos like this are the parting shot. They're like not the parting shot, they're the beginning shot, rather, that kind of sets the tone for the campaign. There's a bunch of other things. I think this was also the day that Joe Biden announced his 2020 presidential campaign. So he wants to try to keep things, again, like more of the same, because he thinks that works well for him. He also believes that being able to contrast himself in that video, he's saying that we're fighting for rights to keep our freedoms and things like that. It's an interesting flip of rhetoric that you often hear from the right wing. And it's actually valid because while you can say a lot about what Democrats haven't done, and as a person on the left, I think Joe Biden, there are a lot of things he hasn't gone far enough on. When you look at the Republican side, they're taking away rights left and right, like quite literally on the state level. They're trying to go on the federal level, no accountability whatsoever. And Biden contrasting that message, going, look at all that weird stuff. I'm not even going to address the weird stuff. I'm normal. It's a good message, even though I think we could talk about the candidate being very flawed.
Well, we're going to get to that, of course, and you would expect maybe the political opponents to be the ones to do that. So let's see what the RNC had to say. This is their response ad, and think about what Dan just said. We can talk about where there's flaws in the candidate. Does this sound like flaws in the candidate?
This just in, we can now call the 2024 presidential race for Joe Biden.
My fellow Americans.
This morning, an emboldened China invades Taiwan.
Financial markets are in free fall as 500 regional banks have shuttered their doors.
Border agents were overrun by a surge of 80,000 illegals yesterday evening.
Officials closed the city of San Francisco this morning, citing the escalating crime and fentanyl crisis.
Who's in charge here? It feels like the train is coming off the tracks.
The RNC releasing that ad there. It was kind of dark. We've seen that type of stuff before. That's been played over before. You make sure your political image look quite evil and all the actions that they've pulled off. But did you guys check out some of those images? Let's flip through those for a minute because I grabbed a few because they looked creepier than normal. Yes, it's dark. Yes, there's shadows. Yes, there's this sinister smile, especially in this third slide here with he and Vice President Harris there. Man, they're really cheesy. And boy, they got some serious wrinkles. And definitely, they look maniacal. The reason it looks kind of odd is because those are all AI-generated images, not just of the candidates, but throughout that ad. So anytime you see it as we're talking here and it's running through, everything on there is 100% completely AI-generated, which is not real. But neither is the things that they said are going to be happening. This is all what ifs. They said it explicitly and quite clearly there. They're not saying it already happened, like maybe Tucker Carlson would have said. What they're saying is this is going to happen. What if? What if? What if? Throughout that entire ad, which I think is pretty illustrative of the way the Republican Party is working here. It's never really about what's happening or about what they're going to do to make your lives better, but about how afraid you should be of some unknown coming for you type of force that, of course, is always ushered in by Democrats. Now, really fast, again, you were talking about potential flaws. Some may feel there's a flaw. Let's go to this graphic here, number 4. If Biden won his second term, though, this is how old he is the problem, he would extend his streak as the oldest person to sit in the Oval Office. He'd be 82 on Inauguration Day of 2025. Now, despite concerns about his age among Democrats, no serious opposition to Biden has emerged, even as these Republicans continue to grow their field of a bunch of folks that I think have a chance to defeat Biden, specifically, of course, Donald Trump. And also, are Democrats really that happy about it? Polling shows Democrats prefer a candidate other than Biden, but there isn't a consensus on who that alternative would be. An NBC News poll released on Sunday found that 70% of Americans, that includes 51% of Democrats, believe that Biden should not seek that second term. And also half of voters who don't want Biden to run say his age is a major factor. So that's where it's coming from. I'm not sure what some of those flaws are. I'm sure you have them, Dan.
No, I think that's the biggest one people see. People are concerned about the president's age. I mean, Donald Trump was barely made it to the finish line in the November election through COVID-19, which I'm only joking about because he took it so callously and caused so much death to the American people. So if Donald Trump holds a little bit of an L there, whatever. But we see like Joe Biden, there's a lot that we know that, or at least we can speculate that they don't have him out in public as much as we can. When he does, it's a little bit awkward. Sometimes I think it's overblown by the right, but health is a factor. Again, from the left, I just think he's not that progressive as a president. He's more progressive than Obama. That's not saying all that much, but when you look at certain policies, he wouldn't do anything different from maybe a standard non-Trumpy Ron DeSantis style Republican when it came to economic issues, fiscal policy, etc. And that is like where a lot of my criticism will come from. And the second part of my criticism is the framing that there aren't any serious Democratic Party candidates, because there's two sides or approaches to this. There's as I mentioned in the intro, you have folks like Pete Buttigieg and Gavin Newsom who they respect the Democratic Party machine and that system too much to buck that and go against their incumbent frontrunner. And then you have people like Marianne Williamson, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I have vastly different opinions on both of those people. But they're going, no, it's still important to have a healthy kind of challenge the incumbency even within a party. And really fast, you look at 2012 with Barack Obama, there wasn't really a serious or like a major candidate that like stood a chance, but they still ran. And I don't think Obama participated in any of those debates, but you still had those debates. I think that process is still good. But the reality is that Joe Biden announcing kind of just clears the path for the incumbency. And it's not necessarily a Joe Biden thing. This is party politics. This is how it's going to be.
I mean, look, Republicans are doing the same thing. We know how this works. I think they were announcing it either yesterday or today that there's debates getting pushed back or not really happening at the same time frame to help, with who they figure will be the nominee here. And it happens with both ways. That's politics. And that's, again, the ones who don't want to shake it up means they could potentially benefit from the help of the party and the money making and the campaigning, all that stuff. So we can see why. We need a little bit more of a shake. But then generally, anyone who's shaking it up doesn't get very far.